Hello and welcome to another Raggy's Beers, Wines and Spirits review on a glorious Saturday bank holiday weekend in August. I'm going to be reviewing Mythos. Now, I don't know a lot about Mythos apart from the fact it's from Greece. 4.7%. Looks like it's got beer awards on it. Premium quality Hellenic beer, if that's how you pronounce it. Obviously it's a lager, not a beer. You know, just because something says beer on it, please do not take any notice of it, because half the time they're not beers, they're lagers. Look at that for a pull. You know, a little ring pull on the top. Quirky or what? Okay. So is that supposed to open up? So yeah, that little plastic pull-off thing there. Oh shit! Not expecting that, bastard. So we'll give it a pour. Have to get the mop down later. Get the floor mopping. Lovely. So, slightly darker than most other lagers. More of a gold than the straw colour. Lots of carbonation and lace in it, as you would expect from any lager. Whitehead, as you'd expect from most lagers. Typical lager aroma to it, you know, hay grass and all that other stuff. And light malts. Now, my son went to Greece and he drank a lot of this Mythos. And he absolutely loved it, you know. My first time, I think, drinking this. I may have drank a pint in the pubs in Nottingham, you know, at some stage. But my first time drinking it, first impressions, it's quite a nice lager, to be fair. And let's be fair, on a day like today when the temperature is near 28, near anything up to 30 degrees I suppose in some parts of this country, and by God we need some warm weather, you know. It's not nice to work in, no, but it's nice to see it, because you know we've got autumn, we've got winter coming up now, and you know the cold days of winter, you know, you need some nice warm days just to keep you going, you know. I've just changed jobs and I've gone from having a nice warm van that if I'm cold I can dive into, to now I've got basically a golf cart with a trailer on the back, and at break times I've got the mess room, but if it's bloody freezing in between I'm going to be stuck. And so, you know, working outside, there's good elements to it, but there's also, you know, some not so good elements, especially in the winter months. Not so much autumn. Autumn's not bad. And where I'm working, it's a leafy estate in the middle of Nottingham. In fact, just off Nottingham city centre. It's a private estate where the houses go anything from 600,000 up to about 5 million, you know, or even more, I presume, because some of them houses are astoundingly big, you know. I'm not sure if they need a private gardener. Maybe I could do gardening for them and just leave the one I'm in there. That'd be something, wouldn't it? I keep looking at jobs like that, but you know, you don't want to be a slave to somebody, you know. But you don't want to be in a job where you, like all jobs, there's a thing where you think, am I being took the mick out of? You know, am I doing too much for what I'm getting paid for? And I suppose that's the question all of us who go to work, you know, ask ourselves, you know. Especially when you see people in offices, they'll be drinking cups of coffee all day, yakking for like several hours, doing their actual work is probably about 3 or 4 hours work a day on an 8-hour day, and they feel hard done to. And then you're there for 8 hours a day working for a good 7.5 hours of it, and you know, you're getting about a fraction of the money. It does make you wonder, doesn't it? It's a horrible world when you think about it. And then you look at MPs and you think, you sat there, falling to sleep, listening to some other boring git going off, and the money you're on. And then you're preaching about the poor, you know. Yeah, if wealth was spread out more even amongst everybody, we'd all be a bit richer, all be a bit happier, and all be a bit more content, you know. When I hear rich people say, oh, you know, I'm unhappy and all that, well, try being poor and not having no money. At least when you're rich and got money, you can do things. Poor people can't. You know, poor people are stuck in their houses, their four walls, and that. I mean, yeah, there are things like going to the park and things like that. You can do that. But rich people who've got multiple houses, if they've got issues with one neighbour, can go to another house and have no issues. Or go on holiday, you know. Poor people can't. And it's a funny old world. And like with the recent thing in Brazil with the rainforest, all the rest of the world saying sort your fires out. And I agree, get your fires under control. But the rest of the world ought to think to themselves, hold on a minute, there's countries round the world, the rich countries could pay, like the African countries, the poor countries, buy off massive areas of their land and say, we want to plant forests of trees here. We'll plant the trees, we'll look after them to help the world. You know, as a gardener, I know you can. I know we can stop climate. You know, the climate going downhill by planting enough trees. There's vast areas of the world that can be used. Bloody hell, look at Australia. You know, you plant the right type of trees in the right environment, you can bring the world from the brink back in. All these trees suck out all the bad air, and you know, there's a lot that can be done. But the rich people of the world, the rich countries, the rich companies, if they put their hearts and minds into it, they could do it. It's like electricity. You can use dams, build more dams, build more solar, you know, build more windmills, whatever you call them. And you know, there's much more that can be done. And when there's so much of it in the world, so many solar panel farms and wind, you know, farms, you get to the stage where it comes down so cheap in price that energy will be that cheap that everybody in the world should not suffer, you know. But anyway, back to the lager. For me, countries like Greece, where this comes from, they get the sunshine. For me, get the money off the EU and build where you can, where it's not impacting anything. Build your solar farms, you know. Disney, I mean, people don't like Disney for some reasons, but I love Disney. And they're building solar farms around Disney to provide the power to Disney. So that power becomes free to them. And so you've got the money, do it, you know. If I won a few million on the lottery, I would have a self-sustainable house. Might have to buy some water in, because I think water would be the only struggle. But as for the rest of it, underground heating, solar panels, we could reuse most of the water, the rainwater at least, and you could make yourself self-sustainable. Very easy. So yeah, this is a pleasant lager to me. Bit better than the standard lager, shall we say. I mean, it tastes very samey to a lot of the normal lagers. I'll be honest. I can't pick out anything different myself. Although I suppose if it was cooler, because this is at room temperature. I've just done a Copperberg review that came from the fridge. This is at room temperature, and different temperatures change reviews. Something from a fridge, if it's a beer or a lager or a cider, temperature makes a massive difference, as does the weather outside, as does the way you feel as well. What I will say is, I mean, look at that, you're 2/3 down now. Still there's still lacing there. There's still retaining that head all that way down. So, which is something you don't see in a lot of lagers. They don't seem to retain the head that far down. For me, a lovely smooth lager. Nice sweetness in the aftertaste there. Not too sweet, just a tad sweet. Yeah, very nice. So out of 5, I'm going to give it, for a World lager, I'm going to give it a 4.3 out of 5. You know, that's quite a nice lager. You know, I can understand why my son loved it. And obviously, the Mythos you get in a bottle doesn't compare to the Mythos that you get on the island. Let's be fair about that, because any beer brewed in its own place from that, you know, like beers that come out of a pump, they're normally better than anything that's bottled or canned. Normally, not always. It's actually quite nice. And 4.7%, yeah, I could taste the strength in that. Probably last drag out. Yeah, the strength did come through in the lager. One last little sip. Right, thanks for watching. See you soon. Now time to cook some barbecue. Cheers.